As we mentioned this morning, we're going to spend the next few minutes talking about some future plans, talking about that stuff. So if we have the guys out in the back, if you could raise your hand, please, we'll get handouts to everybody. I think everyone needs one pretty much. If you're, I guess if you're an adult, if you can read, you probably need one. Let's put it that way. And grab one of these. I want to talk about this evening some of our, praying for the future of Harvest, and to walk you through some of what we're thinking. And we've been praying over this, thinking about this, working through this. And so this will take just a few minutes. I'm not going to take questions tonight. What I want you to do is pray through this, and then over the next couple weeks, pray about it, talk about it with your spouse, talk about it with other people in the church is fine. And we'll be having discussion time at Town Hall in 2 weeks. But I want to begin what our goals are for the church. We want to honor the Lord through Christ exalting worship. That's one of our main goals here at Harvest. And we want to reach the lost in our community and around the world for Christ. So we have outreach ministries here at Harvest. We have outreach through missions around the world. We want to disciple the saved, including equipping the saints for the work of the ministry. That's a very big part of what we do. That's a lot part of our teaching. It's a truth or myth. It's our Bible study. It's our one-on-one program. It's our counseling. All of that is part of our equipping saints for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. And we want to provide fellowship and ministry opportunities for believers. We want you to be part of a ministry community, a community of faith where you can be supported and encourage one another and to not forsake the assembling of yourselves together. These are all some of our goals. Let's talk a little bit about our blessings at church. We are so blessed. Can I get an amen from that? Amen. We have been so blessed. We just started talking about this. We are debt-free as a church. We have been debt-free for a long time. We are in a financially strong position. God has blessed our church in a tremendous way. We're so thankful. We're in a growing area. There are a lot of parts of this country where you cannot say that. But God has blessed us, even just in this Newport area of Rock Hill, across the street from us in Newport, on Miller Pond Road, we have houses and homes and businesses going in. You can see all the work that's being done. This part of town has exploded, and God has been so good in bringing people our direction. We have a growing church family. We've had new people joining the church. We have still people in the intro class. We have more people working through the membership process. We should have another flurry of people joining very soon, and God has blessed tremendously. We've seen number growth, and a lot of that you may not notice as much because if you're in here, there is a overflow room which has anywhere from 20 to, last week we had like 40-something people over there. This week I think it was a little bit smaller. I don't know exactly how many we had over there, but God has been so good, even bringing more people, new people, to our church, and we're thankful for that. I want to remind us of where we've been, some of the closed doors we've had due to our current financial position. I mean, God has blessed us tremendously, but we still are limited. We talked about building a larger worship space. Remember, we talked about that. We prayed about that. We took pledges. If the Lord would have us build, what would you be willing to give? What it really looked like we were looking at was $6.5 million plus, which is just so much money for a church our size, even though we have I'm going to talk ballpark figures here, like $1.5 million or so in the bank. Not that we could spend all of that, but we have money to use, and we could borrow. Our budget around $700,000 gives us a potential to borrow around $2 million if we had to. And with the generosity of our church family, we would have been, short of where we wanted to be if we were to build something like that. And our desire is always to be good stewards of what God has entrusted to us. We do not want to get out over our skis and be doing things that presume upon God instead of trust God. We don't want to be foolish. So we believe we should consider our next logical steps. So we talked about transition projects. There are things we can do in the meantime that we can afford. It never is more, it never gets cheaper to build. That's the general rule. It never gets cheaper to do projects. Over time, if you keep waiting, it will get more and more expensive. So we can accomplish the mission from the God. We started talking about what is our church's next step to enable growth and future ministry. What do we need to add? What do we need to remove? Are there things we're doing that we need to take away? Are there things we need to add to our program? So we think about the master plan for this property, this facility. If we were to build out this facility to its complete fullness, to what we could handle and what we believe that this property would sustain and what we could as a church use, it would look something like this on your sheet. This is our original building, the 100 building, the educational building there. And this auditorium is a 200 building. we've considered eventually turning this into some sort of large ABF space, okay? Something where there's lots of round tables or even a banquet hall, something like that. We're not exactly sure, but that would be ideal. And the Hanson building will continue to be education space or something like that. A family life center, some sort of gymnasium with extra classrooms, bathrooms, perhaps a kitchen, other things like that. A large auditorium, which will go in the grass out here. That's what we've been talking about, a ball field, additional parking, and something possibly, we've even talked about a mission house one day, perhaps a place where missionaries who are off the field can come and stay here on site. So these are all ideas that we've had eventually of fulfilling. If you flip the page over, one of the things that we thought about was, okay, we can't do an auditorium, but part of our long-term goal, one of our long-term master plans, was to have some sort of family life center. And would it be possible for us to do this as we need building space, or we need activity space, and so we need to be able to continue to do our ministry? This could be a stepping stone even towards that. So let's take a look at some of the things I wrote down here, just about the ministries and the facilities. How would a family life center, if we were to do that, and what I mean by that is some sort of activity center surrounded by classrooms and so additional classroom space, additional activity space, additional perhaps kitchen space, fellowship space, etc. How would that help us accomplish our goals that we have now? Well, the current and future ministries, the Family Life Center would not only allow us to do everything we're doing now more effectively, it'll provide opportunities for new ministry in the future. So just a couple examples. Right now we are taxing our current facilities at capacity. When it comes to Wednesday nights and our children's programs, and it comes to Sunday school classrooms, we are limited in what we can do based on the space we have. So we thought, if we expanded, we could even expand our nursery space. We could expand all, the education space, et cetera, and also have areas so we wouldn't have to be tearing down or resetting 300 constantly. So current facilities, the Hanson building is being used too much right now. The tear down every week increases wear and tear on building and equipment. A Family Life Center would allow us to leave classes set up longer, reduce wear and tear. Rooms are currently being fully used. We are not in a place where there's like a hidden room we're not using. We are using everything we can. What kind of things, if we decided to go this route, would a Family Life Center provide? Well, it would provide an activity space for youth and children on Sundays and Wednesdays. Does allow for more fruitful ministry to these age groups. So we're talking Truth Trackers, we're talking youth group, we're talking Sunday school classes and play space, additional classroom spaces, bathrooms. So we could add additional bathrooms, multi-use space such as a gymnasium floor, something like that, play area, as well as meeting spaces and storage, et cetera. Other possibilities, you could even use this place to host special events such as dinner on the grounds. So right now we host dinner on the grounds. We can't get everybody in one place. It is, and you know this, we just had it, right? You go in and you try to find somewhere to sit. You could theoretically have something where everyone is meeting together, extended or expanded opportunities to connect within the church body. Obviously, if you have some sort of family life center, you could have opportunities where people are using the facility to connect for basketball night or for pickleball or for whatever they want to do using the facility, an indoor facility. Opportunities to connect to reach our community. These are not currently happening because of our limited facilities, but it's possible, and I don't want to say we're building this with something that we hope to do, but it is definitely possible. We could use this for outreach events related to the community, such as basketball tournaments or even open gym nights. This is very common among churches to do this kind of thing. So it is definitely possible. Opportunities to reach the community. Host and occasional special services in the activity center without the need for an overflow room. That's also a possibility. So what we're looking at, just to be clear, to kind of get it down to what we're thinking about, and we've talked about this with our deacons, we've talked about it among staff, and I know a lot of you, this is the very first time you're hearing this, which is totally fine. I get that. What we're asking you to do is to consider and to pray if you think this is wise with our use of our finances, our current budget system, because our goal is to have a town hall meeting on May 5th to answer questions and receive some feedback. We'd love to get feedback from you on this during the evening service, and we'll have discussions. We'll talk about it. I will lay out like some of the things we'd hope to have included in there. And the last thing, moving forward, this is really partially where this comes from. This project would be more financially feasible than a new auditorium. It will not solve our worship space issue. We know that. but it will greatly enhance our ministry opportunities now and into the future. It's even possible, and I don't know, I can't see the future, I don't know what God would have for us, but something like this, I think will enable us to have a large facility. Even if we were to have a large worship space, we'd still have all the problems we have right now with our education space, our nursery space, etc. So we are looking for this, we're looking towards this, we're trying to make steps, and this is what the next few phases looks like. We'd like to have a town hall meeting in a couple weeks for this discussion, and then probably a couple weeks out from that, I'd like to have another meeting, a business meeting, to vote to move forward. And moving forward would look something like this. We would authorize a certain amount of money, we haven't decided how much money that would be yet, to pursue site work, which would be we'd have to have engineers come and take a look at what we have, and that's we have to have that before we could do anything. And they would give us the goal. They would give us, okay, this is what will have to be done. I've spoken with some builders. I've spoken with other pastors who've recently done projects like this, and there definitely have to be some site work done, and we'd have to address some parking issues, things like that. A lot of you know this. We've been talking about redoing our parking lot. That's why it's so bad right now, is we've waited on doing this because we're talking about building. We didn't want to do a brand new parking lot, have it ruined by big machinery. So the parking lot we know is in need of repair and replacement. So that's on the docket for this as well. So anyway, I've been speaking very fast because I want to give Eric as much time to preach as possible. And we're not really going to take questions tonight, but you can talk to me privately if you want and ask anything if I've said anything unclear. In fact, let me ask the deacons, is there anything I've said that I need to correct or anything that needs to be emphasized? Yeah, Charles?
Feel free to go to your deacons.
Yeah, go to your deacon, talk to them. They've been part of this discussion. This hasn't been a secret necessarily. You may have heard us talk about it. It's just that we've been praying over this, thinking about it. We want to present it to you as a possibility. And it is more financially feasible. It's still not cheap. And I don't have the numbers yet, and we'll get into that as we can. But it's much more doable, and it's possible with more possible than a auditorium would be. Yeah. Anything else, deacons, that I might have missed or need to emphasize or clarify? Okay. So take this home. We gave you this to you in a sheet for a reason. I want you to take it home, meditate, pray, ask God to give us wisdom. Because this is an all-church thing. This is something that we all are together, and we want to serve the Lord the best we can. We want to use the best resources the best we can. We want to take advantage of where God has placed us. This is an exciting time to be at Harvest. This is an exciting time to be in this place, in this part of the country, around these people, around this building up. This area is being built up. God has placed us in a very special place. Don't lose sight of that. God has given us a special opportunity here. And I believe that this is a great way to move forward to see what God will do next in our church life. So be praying for this. Be praying about this. This is praying for the future of Harvest. That's what it's all about. And I hope you will be.